Good afternoon and welcome to This Week in Starcraft. I'm your host, Jeremy Olaman Reimer, and behind me is my co-host, Zoe the cat. Say hi to the camera, Zoe. Zoe was on the floor just a few minutes ago getting petted, and I was worried she would not show up for the show, and she jumped up with 30 seconds left to go. What a good kitty cat. Aren't you a good kitty cat? Oh, she's thrilled. Anyway, we are here to get you caught up on the week's news from the exciting world of competitive StarCraft gaming. So let's start right off with the top news this week. It can really only be one thing. Evil Geniuses released StarCraft professional Greg Idra Fields. In a statement released on Thursday, Alex Garfield, the CEO of Evil Geniuses, said, quote, "We as a company cannot and will not be supportive of anyone who does not show due respect and appreciation for the community that makes everything we do possible." Unquote. The finding was related to a couple of recent incidents. In his World Championship Series North America match against Polt this Thursday, Idra had a maximum 200 supply and lots of money in the bank when he abruptly left the game without typing GG. This would be a sort of average day for Idra, but the very next day, in a thread discussing Evil Geniuses on Team Liquid, Idra said that, quote, "Winning is at best tangentially related to making money in this industry solely because of what you and the rest of the community chooses to watch." Unquote. And when a fan sarcastically said that he must feel awful to force himself to maintain this facade whenever he streams, Idra replied, and I quote, "Nope, you're all a bunch of fucks. It just so happens I get paid to treat you like it. It's fucking awesome." That was the last straw for CEO Alex Garfield, who had been dealing with Idra's increasingly antisocial behavior over the last few months. Now, Idra has been a controversial figure for many, many years, going back to his days playing Brood War. His insistence that he hates StarCraft 2 as a game, and in this recent statement that he hates his fans, other instances like his refusal to practice or in fact play any games against his teammate DeMuslim, who he called a shit player. All these things indicated that perhaps Idra was having some reservations about his future as a StarCraft player. Idra so far has not released a public statement, so it is not known what his next move will be, whether or not he'll try and find another team, or perhaps try and go into commentating or create content on his own without being on a team, simply by streaming, or perhaps even retire from the game completely. So while that was the big news this week, there were a lot of exciting tournament results. It was a very busy week with games going on in all three regions, Korea, North America, and Europe. So let's take a look at the results. The WCS Premier, or Code S, League is going on in Korea. They're in the round of 16. And we had Solki and Roro, two Zergs, beating out Flying and Yoda in Group A. Turning to Group D, we had Symbol, who came in second in a recent GSL, and Kangho, who is more commonly known by his name Lucira, winning out against Gumiho and Su. With Group C and D being finished, the round of 16 is complete, and they will move on to the round of 8 next week. The Challenger League, which used to be called Code A, has also been going on in the round of 32. Let's go over some results. We had Haiva beating First, Trap beating Curious, Rain beating out Yonghua, Paralyze beating Yu-Gi-Oh!, Lenok eking out a win over Swagger, Avenge beating out former OSL champion Fantasy, Dongregoo losing surprisingly 0-2 to Supernova, and Marine King beating out the last Brood War OSL champion Jangbi. In day 2, we had Crazy beating out Golden, Creator beating Trust, Effort beating out True, Squirtle squeaking by Ruin, Hurricane beating Super, Byun beating Keen, Ragnarok beating Bunny, and Bubyong beating out Maru. Turning to Europe, we had Group F of the round of 32, where Vortex and Nurchio beat out Daishi and Monchi. In Group G, we had Baby Knight and Stefano beating out Grubby and Crass. And we had Feast and Korean player MMA beating out Mana and Sort of. Now, the WCS America round of 32 was also underway. We had 4 groups going on. Group D, Suppy became the first American to advance in the round of 32 in WCS Season 1 North America, beating both Heart and Hello Kitty, and Ryung was the second player to advance there. In Group B, we had Violet and Canadian player Scarlet beating out State and Oz. Oz, the surprising player there, falling 0 and 2. We also had the match previously referred to, Polt and Revival beating out Gosu User and Idra. Idra losing all 4 of his games. And in the final group, we had Crank from Korea and Sen from Taiwan beating out Huck and Kapach. So the round of 16 is done in Korea, moving on to the round of 8. And in North America and Europe, the round of 32 is done, and they're moving on to the round of 16. So next week, we should have even more exciting StarCraft matches. So now turning to team standings and team results. It was another busy week for Pro League. Let's go over and have a look at some of the Pro League results. And there we go. We had KT Roaster beating out Samsung Khan, Woonjin Stars beating out CJ Entis, SKT Telecom squeezing by SKTX Seoul, and the rest of the games haven't been played yet. In the GSTL, we had Incredible Miracle beating out Azubu by a score of 4-3. So, checking the overall standings, for GSTL, Axiom Acer continues to be at the top of the standings, going 3-1, with New Star Hosio being at the bottom. And turning to Pro League, Wounded Stars continues to be in the lead, KT Roaster right behind them, significantly far behind them, but SKT Telecom still in the hunt. And we see at the bottom Team 8 and EG Team Liquid rounding out the bottom 2. So I should explain a little bit between the difference here between GSTL and Pro League, because not everyone will know the difference between that. Pro League is a very old team game that dates back to Starcraft 1 in Korea, and the teams that participate in Pro League, with the exception of EG Team Liquid, are all known as KESPA for the Korean Esports Association. They're KESPA teams, and they all have to play by KESPA rules, and it's very strict, and they have very strict rules for trades and salaries and salary caps and whatnot. The GSTL is what's called the Esports Federation, or ESF teams, and they're completely separate from Pro League, and the GSTL teams also play in individual leagues. But in the individual leagues, you have both KESPA and ESF players competing for the same individual tournament. So it's a little bit confusing, and a lot of people claim that the KESPA teams are going to dominate the Korean scene. Some people even predicted this to happen pretty quickly, like a few months after the Kespa team switched from StarCraft 1 to StarCraft 2. They switched much later than the ESF teams. The ESF team started in StarCraft 2. Anyway, enough about that. I calculated the totals between Kespa and ESF players for this week in Korea, and Kespa players went 10 wins and 8 losses. ESF players went 10 wins and 12 losses. But head-to-head, the ESF players actually won more games. They went 9 and 8 versus Kespa. So the elephant in the room, I don't have my elephant. Let's say the Protoss Zealot in the room. It kind of looks like an elephant. The elephant in the room was that Kespa would dominate the ESF teams. Kespa is starting to do much better and starting to do a little bit better, but it's about 55% to 45% so far. So we'll be keeping an eye on those standings. Anyway, let's go to the game of the week. And there is only one choice, as far as I'm concerned, for the game of the week. And this is Suppy versus Hart, Game 2, in the World Championship American Premier Group D. Now, let me just set this up a little bit before we start going through the game. In StarCraft, comebacks are a rare thing. If one player wins a big battle, often they'll be in a position where they cannot possibly lose unless their opponent makes a major mistake. And because the players are also talented and practice so much, big mistakes like that are pretty uncommon. Players that lose the big battle and find themselves far down in supply often type GG and leave the game. However, there are a few moments where a player hangs on stubbornly and refuses to leave, and somehow against all odds comes back, and this is such a game. And these are the most exciting games in StarCraft. This is, again, Suppy, an American Zerg player, up against the Korean Terran Hart. And we know that Koreans are tough players, Korean Terrans even more tough players. Now, there was a moment earlier on where Suppy actually lost all of his a whole bunch of his forces to a single Baneling, or to a single Widow Mine. Here we see a whole bunch of Widow Mines from Hart. Now we can see, let's look at the supply here. It's 196 from Hart, that's max, to 133 for Suppy. In terms of bases, Terran is on 3 base, Zerg is on 3 base. You never want that as a Zerg player. You always want to have 1 extra base. And the Zerg here gets caught, loses all Mutalisks. It's down to 150 supply. There are drops everywhere coming to all of his bases. He's going to lose drones. This bad stuff is happening. And, you know, at this point, another player, we won't name any names, like Hydra, would have left long ago. Would probably have left as soon as the Widow Mine hit all the Banelings. Look at the bank here for Hart. He's got 1,600 minerals, 1,000 gas, fully maxed out. You can do whatever you want. He's got map control. He's got these... now, Suppy he's got the dropships. Suppy has some Ultralists. He squeezed them out somehow. But what can you do against Ultralists when you're against these drops with what's going to be 3-3 bio? Here we have all these Widow Mines coming up. We're going to see a big battle coming up, and Suppy fungles a whole bunch of Widow Mines, but oh, here's a drop. Here's a drop. He's taking out his main base. This is not looking good. And takes out the spawning pool. This is really not good for Suppy here. Sends all of his army back. And Hart just picks up the Minimax. Get away, no problem. I'll just take your spawning pool, and you can't build any units. So I'm still maxed out. He's got Widow Mines everywhere. He's got... Okay, so he's trying to take a 4th base here. And the same crew that destroyed the spawning pool will go, oh, we'll kill that base. So this Suppy is is hanging on by the skin of his teeth at this point. And look at these dropships. They're going to come back. This time he's got some banelings ready for him. And Terran's like, oh, okay. Well, I have more units than that. You killed a bunch of my units. I'm still fine. He'll heal up for a little bit. Move in here. Some widow mines going off. Suppy barely over 160 ply. Oh no, the drop is still there. It's coming in, taking out the hive. Oh, can't quite do it. And we're going to skip forward a little bit because this is pretty much, it seems like a stalemate. So let's move forward a little bit to the 20-minute mark. Oh, this is where this happens. I'm going to back it up a little bit. Another base has been killed, so in fact, Suppy's on 2 bases. He's done some damage against Hart. But, actually, let's back up a little bit and see. Look at those Ultralisks. They're all getting targeted, getting blown up by the Raven Seeker missiles. And he attacked one of the Terran's base. He's going to attack another of the Terran's base. And look at the supply. Suppy is still up in supply, but it's close. Wait, Suppy is... Okay, I went too far. The turnaround point. Turnaround point is when he sends all these Ultralisks in. And, oh, there we go, okay. We'll find a few turnaround points. Okay, here we go. Here's the Ultralisk army. He comes in. This is the exciting point. Oh, huge fungal. Takes a huge amount of bio. Ultralisk clean up everything. And look at the supply. He's actually almost caught up. 166 to 187. These drops are still a problem. But he's got Ultras. He's going to send a hero Ultralisk here. And look at this Ultralisk. He's just like... Oh, another huge fungal! Another fungal! And look at this. Is he going to get one more? Oh! Doesn't need to. Ultras devastate. Now, Suppy is still behind the supply. He's still 144. Hart's 166. But look at the damage he's doing to the Terran infrastructure here. He's getting in there. He's destroying huge fungal on all the medevacs. That was pretty good. It didn't kill anything, but it was pretty good. It let the Ultras move in and destroy a few things. Those Ravens are pretty much out of energy. You see they're putting auto turrets up there at the top, but they won't do much. But look at Suppy's down 127 supply. All this effort. And how is he going to get back? This game's absolutely crazy. I love watching those Ultras just kind of eating up everything. And look at those guys. They just don't stop. And he's getting a lot of the production. So this basically allows Suppy some breathing room. He's killing all these barracks and all these factories that you can see there. Those are all producing things, but they're all going to die. And Hart has this huge amount of money. Look at that, 5,000 minerals, 1,400 gas. But he can't build anything because his... There goes a factory. He's got some barracks. They're burning down. They're flying. They can't build anything while they're flying. And look at that. Suppy goes ahead in supply. Suppy at 116 over 107. But the game is not over yet. It's still... How much more time? It's still got like 15 minutes to go. Let's skip forward a little bit. Here we have Suppy down in supply again because Terran is fighting back with the Marauders. Made short work of all the Ultralisks. See this one Ultra just lying around there. He doesn't know what to do. Terran's established himself on a new base. He's got lots of mining. He's got mules. He's got a planetary fortress. He's got all these Marauders. He's got a widow mine. And he's ahead in supply. So what is Suppy going to do here? He's got some Zerglings. He's got some Corruptors. What is he going to do? I'm going to skip ahead until he actually does something. Alright, here come the Marauders. Poking in. Not doing very much. Still not much happening. Suppy's main base has been destroyed, by the way, from all these drops. So he's struggling. They're both on low econ. And skip forward a little bit. Oh, he's dropping creep on the expansion that Terran wants to take. And he's taking a bunch of expansions to the left. But he's still down in supply. But look, if Terran can't attack him. His Marauder force is way over the other side of the map. So he can't attack these new bases. He's pretty much just killing nothing. And here comes some Corruptors, killing a few Medivacs. And this is a huge thing, targeting these Medivacs. All the Corruptors go down, but a lot of these Medivacs are really low. Suppy's still down in supply. But then look at this, Hero Ultralisk, cleaning up an entire base worth of SCVs. Base has to lift off. SCVs are coming back. They're like, is it safe to come back? No! No, it's not safe! Ah! They all die. And now Suppy is way up in supply, because he had the chance to recover. Terran's on 2 bases. Zerg is on 2 bases, but he's got more tech, he's got more supply, and eventually he just has too much. And look at these queens. Look at all these transfuses. Transfuse. That Ultralisk will not die. At one point, he fires off a Hunter Seeker missile. Oh, no, he doesn't. He was going to. I thought he was going to. Oh, huge fungal. And this Hero Ultralisk gets transfused again and again and again. And he comes through. He kills everybody. He's like, stop, I'm an Ultralisk. I can't die. Look at all those queens. You have that many queens, and then the Corruptors are killing this base while it's in the air. It's coming in now. This is the last mining base for Terran. Queens are slowly coming up. Still have a few energy for Fungals. Big Fungal there on the Marauders and the Ultralisk. Finally, Hero Ultralisk dies, but look at all the Zerglings. He dances the Zerglings. He dances the Queens. And GG. Suppy wins the game. That is a game worth watching in its entirety, I think. That is, just Google WCS North America or America. Group D, Suppy versus Hart, and you'll find that game on YouTube. So that was our game of the week. How about our plays of the week? We have multiple ones. There are a couple of neat plays from a couple of different games, so we're going to go right to those. This is a fun play. We have Symbol versus Gumiho playing in WCS Korea. And Symbol the Zerg decides to make a Nidus Worm. And then when he makes a Nidus Worm, he decides, why don't I keep making Nidus Worms forever? Let's watch.
Might just be near the Terran base, because he doesn't actually know about the roaches quite yet. Okay, there it is. This definitely could be spotted.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, he's not spotting.
Oh my god!
It's because he's microing against the Lings right now. Wow.
Are you kidding me?
Okay, you see.
No, he definitely doesn't see it because he's moving the opposite direction.
He's going to make a second one as well.
All right, yeah, I think so.
All right, well, this is pretty rough here for Gumiho.
There's not a lot coming out just yet,
Yeah, he's putting down a creep tumor as well. Well, a stim does come up. He's going to pull his Lings back to help fight against this. No medevac.
No medevacs, yep, I was about to say.
As that runs out, this becomes very weak here for Gumiho.
Now, there's only one queen out here, just barely enough for one transfusion, which he uses. A lot of SCVs being picked off the next wave of roaches does pop out here. There are 2 medevacs out now, which means if he doesn't control his army perfectly, he will be... No, I speak too soon.
It looks like he has enough for now, but we do have the Widowmines coming out. He's going
to drop. He's going to drop over there. Buy that up. By the Nidus Worm. Oh my god, burning Nidus Worm, Beth Destiny, and all of Starcraft too.
And he does a very good job killing that. In the meantime, the Roaches did take some strong Widowmine hits, but he is making another Nidus Worm as well.
Really nice here. Continuing to crank those out. And he's going to try to drop it. I don't know if it's going to work. Nice targeting.
And look at that. He started another one immediately knowing this would happen. Symbol definitely having practiced this strategy quite a bit and doing a great job with it.
Yeah.
In fact, I think that last Nidus, that might have been a cocky one.
Yeah, no kidding. Especially the placement of it. Stivian coming forward here. Is he going to go for that Nidus network at any point in time here? I don't know what just came out of there, but looks like just barely Gumiho might. No!
Well, Gumiho has...
I think these medevacs are actually out of energy.
Yeah, and Gumiho has no economy anymore. This game is absolutely over. Symbol cannot possibly lose this from here.
Yep. And as you can see here, they're just doing too
kill all
much
the
damage. You
Nidus.
can keep making
Six
these Nidus
Nidus.
worms.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe just barely no. Nice
Well,
contaminating, by the way, there.
Okay, I guess Gumio stopped it, but it's 68 supply to 21. It's 2 SCVs, 2 medevacs, a tank, and 7 Marines.
You know, we haven't really seen strats
Seventh
like
Nidus.
this.
No, this
by
is
the way,
really
so
cool to see.
Sneak out another one. I don't
Really
know if
cool.
Gumiho is distracted. Oh
Wow.
my god! All right, he'll take this out, no problem.
Oh,
Dinosaur's
took that
dying
one
quite
out.
quickly. He should probably just make one outside of the base.
Yeah, you're actually very right. Or he just send his units across the map because there's the economy of Gumio is so shattered, he can't actually make anything.
Yeah, he has a shell of what his economy.
Anyways, you can see at that point, it's really, he goes on to win the game. Spoilers. All right, now we're going to turn to next play of the week, Huck versus Kapach, game number 2. Huck had already won game 1. And watch for the Stalker in its Stalker prison. This is a Protoss versus Protoss. Huck is sending a bunch of Zealots over to check it out. And let's watch.
Fucking in. This is why there's a stalker here. The Zealots can't shoot it.
It was all part of the plan all along.
Of course, Huck hitting the next force shield perfectly as well. We're putting more sentries to defend. It's like a photon cannon, but it does half the damage per second, and it costs more. But it is gonna eventually kill these Zealots.
I mean, it's not doing that much damage now. It's a Stalker versus Stalker battle, but the Stalker that's been here has said, hey man, I haven't even seen any battle. I'm not hurt at all. Meanwhile, Hux is. But here comes 2 of Huck's Dark Templar. As the Oracle is leaving the base, the Oracle's gonna have to double back and use its detection.
Sad Oracle.
But Huck, he's got his Dark Templar. He's actually waiting for the Oracle to go farther.
He saw the Oracle pop out, and so he waited till it gets halfway across the map. If it's halfway across the map, it's gonna take a while for D to get to his base and damage him, or to come home. And now
Actually, the Dark Templar are gonna bust the Stalker out.
they're his friends now. Stalker. Oh no.
It's like he's Sirius Black and they're Harry Potter. Breaking him out of Azkaban. Oh, but here comes the Oracle, going to be able to detect those 2 Dark Templar. And the Dark Templar say, that's okay. We're going to pair up. We're going to turn into an Archon, which is an incredibly scary. The Stalker is still very moody, stuck in the base still.
This is looking so bad for Capoche. As soon as Huck's additional forces cross the map, Huck has such a big army advantage. The Archon there is just an immense bonus.
Yes, the Archon takes a lot of damage here. It's not really weak against any of the units and is actually able to start doing a lot of damage to the Oracles, the Zealots, and everything else. Huck
Both
comes in
Oracles die.
and goes straight for those Oracles so that now he can go back to DTs and
Now
the
watch
DTs
it-
have
watch what he
nothing
does.
to detect them.
With these,
Is he gonna? He's gonna free the
trees.
Stalker!
He really wants at this Stalker. DT slicing at that pylon. No, he's
No,
not. He's not. He's capitalizing it.
Oh,
There he
he
goes.
finally busted it out.
And he traps it again.
Force fields.
Oh, wow.
Poor Stalker.
That poor Stalker.
Okay, our final play of the game. Yep, got to do it. It's got to be Idra versus Pult, Game 1, World Championship, America, Premier Group C. Now, as we look here, we see that Idra has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases. So that's pretty good. Pult is on 5 bases. So he's up a base. He is max supply. And he has 2,500 minerals and 2,500 gas in the bank. So what does he do?
The Bolt can start trading SCVs and it free up more and more army supply, and then eventually I'm afraid that Israel's going to have to fight an overwhelming amount of Vikings and Ravens,
got
and that's something you really rather
Ultralists,
avoid as a third
he's
player.
got
But then
Corruptors.
again, it's so hard to avoid that because this is Daybreak and it's really hard to make proper attacks.
He's got a much bigger gas
It
bank.
really is. Idra needs to either
got
deny
brood
this middle base
lords.
or just switch focuses. Maybe potentially even give up that bottom base.
Seeker missile.
Oh, here comes the Seeker Missile.
Idra backing away just in time there, but the Ravens are closing the distance. If they
Okay,
get close
one base
enough,
is taken
there's
out.
no way those Broodlords can run away, but only a single Seeker Missile. That's actually not going to kill the Broodlord.
Doesn't even kill the
Just be
Broodlord.
transfused.
And wait for it.
Hydra lost
Wait
it,
for
I
it.
believe, down the road. How many queens? Actually, not a single queen on the map right now.
Oh,
And he
there
leaves
he
again.
goes. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I don't think he was dead yet.
No, I think most people would agree with you on that one, X. I don't think he was necessary that either. Polt was fighting back really well, though, taking
Yeah.
out base in the left upside. And this is, as we said, it's daybreak. It's so hard for Idra to properly engage and properly get a good fight up where he's not going to.
Okay, so, you know, the more you analyze that game, you see that Polt was dropping at the 5th, which was one of the final mining bases, but really, do you leave a game like that, your 200 supply, maxed out army, you say, oh, Terran could have won. Terran probably could have won. Terran was probably going to win that game, especially against Idra. But, I mean, look at the Suppy versus Hart. Also an American Zerg, also a Korean Terran. Suppy was in way dire straits in comparison. He was not maxed out. He was behind in supply. And he found a way to win. And Idra just left. And now he's not only left the game, but he has left Evil Geniuses. So my final thoughts today have to go back to Idra and Evil Geniuses and what he said, which was that he was paid just to kind of be a bad boy, to be a controversial figure, you know, or in his words, tell everyone that they were fuckers. Well, actually, he's not paid to do that anymore. But let's talk about the question that he raised. He mentioned that Code S players, Korean players, don't get very many stream views when they stream their games. Maybe they get 500 or so people compared to Idra, who would get between 5,000 and 8,000 when he streamed. And obviously these Korean players were much better than Idra. So Idra's point was, well, winning, it's not about winning. That's not what makes money. Well, I would disagree with that. Winning does make you money. In comparison, let's look at another player. Let's look at two players. First, Idra. He was a Zerg player from the US, played for Evil Geniuses, had some good results in the beta in early 2011. He kind of fell off, but, you know, felt he still had some talent, but he was considered the bad boy of Starcraft, often spoke his mind without thinking, and sometimes that got him into trouble. Now let's compare it to another player, Stefano, who is a Zerg player from France, who also played for Evil Geniuses, had some great results in 2011 and 2012, although he hasn't been quite as dominant since. He was also considered to be the bad boy of StarCraft, and often spoke his mind without thinking of the consequences, and sometimes got into trouble. Seeing if Zoe was still there. She's still there. So, what are the big differences between the two? Okay, one was from the US and one was from France, but is that really the big difference? I don't think so. They're both non-Koreans, and they were both underdogs facing every time they faced Korean players. Stefano got a lot of viewers on his stream as well. And Stefano is still at Evil Geniuses, and Idra is not. So what are the main differences between them? Okay, Stefano, when he got into trouble, he would apologize, to take responsibility, whether it's a fine, suspension, whatever. And two, he never whined about balance. Stefano actually said that whining about balance was stupid. He didn't say that players who whined about balance, like Idra, were stupid. He said that whining was stupid, which is true. Stefano never said that results were unimportant. He continued to play and win tournaments. And he admitted he was in it for the money, but he was in it for the prize money, not the annoying fans' money. And he never insulted the fans. So, at the end of the day, if StarCraft was only about notoriety and not results, Idra and Stefano should have shared similar fates. Instead, Idra has been let go, whereas Stefano continues to represent Evil Geniuses. In any case, it's really not surprising that being a bad teammate, being abusive, insulting your fans, and throwing away important games actually has consequences. It should have consequences. StarCraft may be fun and edgy and indie and anything but mainstream, but Will Wheaton's law still applies. Don't be a dick. So, we'll leave you with that. for all you players and viewers out there, don't be a dick. Learn from this example, and we'll see you next time. Alright. We're going to leave you with a little tempo.
When I'm Grandmaster, I will play faster.
See you next week.
Me Bonjour, just like my name was Flash. When I'm Grandmaster, I will play faster. They'll call me Bonjour, just like my name was Flash. But now I'm just flat, and now I'm just flat, and now I'm just flat. Oh, laced into bronze, it was so wrong. No games I won, so I made songs, but I stayed calm, and before long, I will be strong, just like J Dong. Now I'm in platinum, and I go at them, hoping for that one promotion. Learn from these streams, watch Cam TV, not that MC. I wish I was Korean, so we're laddering just to compete, and it's Saturday when we GG, so we patiently play and tune in today. We'll make it some way, but for now we say, when I'm Grandmaster, I will play faster. They'll call me Bonjour, just like my name was Flash. But now I'm just flat, and now I'm just